What's up, five fans? This is Slim Olokpe with Slim Olokpe Boxing. So, Anthony AJ Joshua wants a rematch with Daniel Dubois after suffering a fifth-round knockout that stunned the boxing world. But Daniel Dubois' trainer, Don Charles, is just as surprised as the fans by how quickly AJ's team demanded the second fight. And the question on everybody's mind is this rematch really in the cards? Or will Dubois move on to a new opponent in February? Because the night of the first fight was a shock to millions of boxing fans. Just last month, Daniel Dubois defended his IBF World Heavyweight title against Anthony, the landlord, Joshua, and he stopped him in 5 rounds at Wembley Stadium. So Anthony Joshua's dream of becoming a 3-time champion was dashed, and the outcome of the fight left fans buzzing about the future of both fighters. Yet, almost immediately after the loss, Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, publicly called for a rematch, saying that Anthony Joshua wants to avenge the defeat. But was this just an emotional response or a genuine plan for AJ to get back to the top? Because for me, I've not seen any clip where Anthony Joshua himself was confidently saying that he wants to rematch Daniel Dubois. All we have seen so far is Eddie Hearn coming out saying that Anthony Joshua wants the rematch, Anthony Joshua must take the rematch. And Eddie Hearn have a record of pushing his fighters into a rematch they might not even wanted. He did the same thing in Bivol against Batebiev. Bivol himself, when he was asked that would he want to face Batebiev in a rematch, Bivol's answer was that if the fans want to see a rematch, if the fans think the first fight was a very close match and they want to see a rematch, he said he is ready to give it to them. He is ready to go into a rematch with Batebiev. But the point is, that is not a statement from a confident man. I'm not saying Bivol is not a great fighter. He is a great fighter. He has convinced me with that fight against Batebiev that he's a true champion. But his statement responding to that question is not really confident enough for me. He's saying that if the fans want it. What concerns you with if the fans want it? Do you want it? If you want it, your answer should be definitely, I want this rematch. I think the first fight, I think I got robbed. I don't agree with that decision. And in this next fight, I'm very sure I'm going to beat Batebiev. That was supposed to be Bivol's answer. But Bivol said, well, if the fans want it, I would like to go back into the rematch. That doesn't sound like confidence. So Eddie Hearn has always been the guy pushing his guys into a rematch, even without the fighter saying anything yet. Eddie Hearn wants a rematch because he's not the one getting punched. Meanwhile, Don Charles, Daniel Dubois' trainer, was just returning from Ghana. Charles was taken aback by all the rematch talk waiting for him back home. So, speaking to Seconds Out, Don Charles admitted that he was surprised at how fast the rematch idea came up. He said the fight had hardly finished when he started hearing that, hey, they want a rematch. And he was feeling like, wow, I must be missing something. And he couldn't grab why these people are thinking they want a rematch immediately because the fight was not even close. However, since that initial buzz, the rematch conversation has closed. As Charles put it, he said the rematch talk has gone silent over the past few days. And this has left questions about what is next for both fighters. Don Charles mentioned that as of now, Dubois is scheduled to fight again in February. But who will be the opponent? That is still the big mystery for now. So Don Charles said he plans to check in with the team to find out if a decision has been made. But for now, he don't know who Daniel Dubois is going to fight next. So what does Don Charles make of Anthony Joshua's eagerness to jump right back into the ring with Dubois? In Don Charles' words, he said he understands why AJ will want a rematch. He said that is what gladiators do. He said whether it is a right or wrong decision, he said gladiators always want to fight. So Don Charles pointed out that Joshua, despite the loss, he likely believes that he should have won that fight because his immediate reaction is that he is better than what he just shown in that fight. So it is clear that Anthony Joshua's mindset is one of redemption. But will his team agree when they weigh the risk of going back into the ring with Dubois so soon? On one hand, an immediate rematch might be Anthony Joshua's quickest path back to the top. Because waiting for a title shot in today's heavyweight division is very tricky. With names like Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk clogging in the path. So for Anthony Joshua, A win over Daniel Dubois could be the most direct route back to the title scene. So Don Charles acknowledged the logic here, saying that the most direct path back to the title is Daniel Dubois, and a rematch with Daniel Dubois could be Anthony Joshua's last chance to revive his title dreams. But is the risk of another defeat worth it? Anthony Joshua still have some dignity to protect. He can still decide to start fighting people like Deontay Wilder, Dillian White, Big Baby Miller. He can decide to go for this fight and still keep making waves. But if he goes into that fight with Daniel Dubois and gets knocked out again, what would this mean for Anthony Joshua? So with everything on the line, does Don Charles think the rematch is likely? When he was asked if he believes that Anthony Joshua will roll the dice, Don Charles gave a straightforward response. He said Daniel Dubois has got the belt no matter what happens. So Don Charles seems confident that AJ's team might ultimately decide to avoid the rematch immediately because they recognize the stakes and risks involved. And with Eddie Hearn hinting that AJ may not be ready to fight until summer of 2025, Daniel Dubois' camp will likely look for a different opponent to defend the title against in February. So as boxing fans, we are left to wonder if Anthony Joshua will eventually face Daniel Dubois again. For now, Daniel Dubois and his trainer are focused on moving forward, leaving the door open for future matchups, and this is a pivotal moment in heavyweight boxing. Will Anthony Joshua take the fight, or is it time for him to explore other paths? For Dubois, the world is waiting to see if he can keep the momentum alive. The next few months will shape the future of both fighters. So fight fans, let me know your thoughts. Should Anthony Joshua take the rematch with Dubois, or is it a risk that he cannot afford to take? And what is next for Daniel Dubois? If Anthony Joshua doesn't take this fight, who should Daniel Dubois face next? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.